I'm meteorologist John Dawson, and this is the YouTube Tropical Update. Of course, we're bringing this to you from Houston, where we're getting ready for some excitement with some Astros baseball happening this weekend. But we're talking about the tropics, so let me go ahead and dive into those a little bit. And fortunately, things are quiet right now. When we take a look at what's happening across the Atlantic, looking very quiet, not expecting any tropical formation within the next 5 days. So that's always good to hear from the National Hurricane Center, especially when it's been so busy. We had a tropical wave that we were watching there for yesterday with some very slight chances of formation. And yes, that has sort of fallen apart, not expecting any of those tropical characteristics to continue. And then when we look at the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean, also remaining very quiet. And as I said, National Hurricane Center, we've had a flurry of activity in the last month or so, getting a little bit of a break now as we're moving toward the second half of October, and no complaints there. And of course, when it comes to October, you know there's going to be some Astros baseball happening, and that's of course what we're looking at here in Houston across the area this weekend. And we're watching that front begin to move down and really move into southeast Texas. So I can't help but talk a little bit about what's happening locally, because we're going to be enjoying some very fall-like weather here in Houston. And again, just tropically speaking, these fronts, when they move through, is what definitely gives us a little protection from any sort of tropical activity that might be forming. Now, this week, NOAA has announced that it does look like we're going to have a La Nina continue through winter, about an 87% chance that that's going to continue at least through the winter time. So I wanted to take just a moment to talk about La Nina. And again, in a hurricane sense, if you'll remember, this is something that definitely impacts the hurricane season, and the fact that it keeps things a little bit more active overall, and we've definitely seen that. It all happens from the waters out in the Pacific off of South America. Normally that very warm water gets winds that are blowing across it. Sometimes when the winds are a little stronger than usual, every couple years or so, even cooler water will come up from below, and that cools the surface water a little bit. Doesn't take a whole lot, but just a little bit of cooling, and that completely changes and can really have an impact on some of our global winds that are happening across the entire planet, of course, and that includes across North America. And generally, this is what it means for us in the winter time. So again, I know this is a tropical update, but we're talking about La Nina, just kind of, again, giving you an idea of what could be happening across our winter. General terms that we could see some warmer and drier air across the southern portions of the nation. Could be a little bit cooler up to the north, and definitely some areas that are a little bit more wet than usual overall. Of course, want to remind you that we're here every day a little bit after 4 p.m. talking about the tropics. Want to make sure to keep you updated all the time. Be sure and stay with us over the weekend, and of course, go Astros.